Here's something nobody in the email marketing space wants to admit. Most of your subscribers are never actually seeing your emails. Not because your subject lines are bad, not because your list is cold, not because you're sending too much, not because you're sending too little. It's because of something else, something baked into how the biggest inbox providers in the world work, and it's quietly taking your emails away from the inbox before your customer even has a chance to open them. And the worst part, Klaviyo dashboard won't show you this. Your open rates won't show you this. Everything will look fine on the surface, but underneath you are losing money on every single cent. I've been doing lifecycle marketing for D2C brands for almost a decade. I've worked with brands doing 1 million a year and brands doing over 100 million a year. And this problem shows up everywhere, including at brands that genuinely believe their email is performing well. And in this video, I'm going to show you exactly what's happening, why it's happening, and then how to fix it, which is something almost nobody talks about. But there are a lot of people quietly solving it. So let's get into it. Before I show you the fix to get your emails outside the promo tab, you need to understand the actual problem, because most people have no idea how broken this really is. So let's start with Gmail, because it's where the majority of your subscribers are, probably, right? Like, we're talking about 1.8 billion active users globally. A big chunk of your list is likely to be on Gmail. So what happens inside Gmail matters a lot. And as you probably know, there's 3 tabs. There's the primary tab, the social, and then the promotions tab. And any email that looks like marketing gets basically filed into promotions. And obviously most marketers know this. What they don't fully understand is the effect this has. So here's what actually happens. The promo tab is 37 times more crowded than the primary tab. Think about that for a second. Your email is not just competing with your own previous sends, it's landing in a folder that is essentially a graveyard of ignored marketing emails, and it sits alongside dozens of other brands, all fighting for the same distracted scroll. But this isn't even the biggest issue. The biggest issue is mobile notifications. When an email lands in your primary inbox, your phone buzzes. You get a banner on your lock screen. You more than likely see it in real time. People have the phones on their hands all the time these days. So you basically see it when it arrives, or close to when it arrives. And then at that moment, your intent is like picked. You're like, what is this? When an email lands in the promo tab, you don't get anything. There's no notification, no banner, nothing. And basically you send your email and the customer just goes on about their day completely unaware that your email even exists. So by the time they eventually open Gmail, go to promotions, the moment has already passed. They are now seeing the email among all of the other emails. The context that perhaps made your email relevant is gone. Let's say it was like a seasonal sale. Maybe it wasn't a response to behavior in the case of a flow email. All of this is gone. Your email is buried down a list. It might as well not even exist, frankly. And here's where it gets even worse, because this isn't just like a Gmail problem. Apple Mail, which runs on every iPhone and iPad, has its own filtering system. Outlook has its own focused inbox, which works on the same principles, basically separating emails that are deemed important from everything else and then routing all marketing emails into the other tab. Yahoo has a similar category filtering. Even newer clients have inbox curation built in by default. The point is, this is not just a Gmail thing. This is an industry-wide issue in how email inbox providers handle marketing emails. And every major client is now actively working to essentially protect its users from promotional emails. So the bottom line, unless you understand how they make that decision, your emails will keep getting lost in the clutter. Now, if you've Googled this problem before, you've probably seen the advice, right? Ask subscribers to move you to primary. Ask them a question so that they reply. Use a more personal sender name. Reduce your email to text ratio. Avoid spam trigger words. Send plain text versions. And all of that helps marginally at the edges, but none of it solves the problem at the root, because none of it addresses the actual mechanism the algorithms use to make the decision. These inbox algorithms, Gmails, Apples, Outlooks, are essentially reading your email's code. Every email, in case you don't know, is code. They're not just looking at your subject line or your sender name. They're looking at the structure of the HTML itself. The technical signals that basically most email marketers never see and never touch. And if those signals communicate that this is a marketing blast, then of course they're going to route the email accordingly. It doesn't matter how good your copy is. Doesn't matter how clean your list is. The decision is made before any human ever reads a single word. So if you want to solve this, you don't solve it by better subject lines or better sender names. You solve this by looking at a place most people never even look. Before I show you the fix, I want to pause for a second. If you're watching this and realizing you have no idea where your emails are actually landing for most of your subscribers, that is completely normal. Inbox placement is one of the most under-audited parts of any email program. Most brands are frankly flying completely completely blind to this. And this is one of the first things we look at when we start working with a brand. And in almost every case, it's one of the fastest and most immediate wins we can drive. If you want us to do this for your brand, there's a link in the description to book a call. There's no commitment, just book a call, see if we might be able to help you scale. Now, here's the fix. These inbox algorithms are reading your HTML for specific signals that tell them what kind of email this is. And here's the key insight. Those signals can be influenced deliberately. There are specific lines placed in your header or footer. Most people do it on the footer, but they should probably do it on the header so that it loads immediately, that communicate directly to these algorithms. And when those codes are present, they signal that this is a personal direct communication rather than a bulk marketing send. The algorithm then reads this and it routes your email to the primary tab, which consequently means what? Notification gets sent, the phone buzzes, the person opens and then clicks the email when it is relevant. The reason most brands don't know about this is simple. It's something invisible. You can't see it by looking at an email. You can't find this in your Klaviyo campaign settings. It lives in a part of the email world that nobody looks at unless they know to look there. And there are brands, including huge brands like Dr. Squatch, that are already doing this. And they do this quietly and without talking about this. And I'm going to show you exactly what it is so that you see with your very own eyes. So I've opened up some emails sent by Dr. Squatch. And you can, of course, sign up for their emails and receive them in your inbox too. I'm using a third-party technology to do this, which is called Mailboard. But again, just sign up. It's the same thing. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to the HTML of the email itself. And again, you can do this through your own inbox. I'm just using this tool because it's easier and it aggregates all of the content itself. Now, as I said, most people hide the anti-promo code within the footer. It would be better if they added it at the header of the email so that it loads immediately. But for this example's sake, I'm going to scroll down and you'll see there's a lot of stuff here. This is basically the content of the email itself. And then eventually, if you scroll down all the way to the end, there's this section here, which is actually hidden. So you won't see this as a recipient of the email, meaning the customers of Dr. Squatch have no idea this is there, right? Which is very important in case you're wondering, well, won't this hurt our brand perception? No, nobody's gonna know. This is just for the inbox providers. At the very bottom, you have this section which starts here. Important privacy information, especially for plain text readers. Like it's actually a very, very, very long piece of text that goes on and on and on and on. It's like incredibly long, and you could just copy this obviously into a notepad and then you would have the full thing. And then what this does essentially is that it tells the inbox provider that this is worth putting into the primary inbox. If you analyze the text carefully, you'll see that the way it achieves this is that it essentially provides a lot of security and privacy related information, which allows the inbox provider to then say, okay, this is a legitimate email, it's important, I should put it on the primary inbox. And this really is it. It really is as simple as this. So if you are smart, I've given you enough detail to actually go to Dr. Squatch, or frankly, there's other companies doing this, sign up for their emails, open up the HTML code of the emails, and then all you need to do is copy this into a notepad. You'll see that they're even using placeholder text. If you want my opinion, this is something that you shouldn't do for your brand, so make sure you replace the placeholders with your own actual information, and then you are good to go. You can just include it as a universal block within Klaviyo or your ESP of choice. I recommend putting this on the header, but again, most people do this on the footer for reasons I don't understand. And then that's it. It takes about 5 minutes. You can save the block, and then you can just drag it and drop it to any email, a flow email, a campaign email, and you're done, basically. And you'll see great results. But I don't want you to trust me and do this. I want you to actually run it as an A/B test so that you see the difference with your own eyes. Take your first welcome flow email or a checkout abandonment email, or like frankly a campaign email if you'd like. Version A is your current content completely unchanged, and version B has the snippet that I showed you in this video added. Same subject line, same content, same send time, same conditions, same everything else, sent to the same audience fundamentally. And then just see. What you're going to see, I promise you, will surprise you, because this version that I encourage you to try will have more open rates, it will have more clicks, it will have more revenue per recipient, and especially on Gmail, the gap is going to be more significant than the other inbox providers. So while as this happened, you've simply changed where the email lands, which really means you've changed whether the phone buzzes when your message arrives. You've changed basically the moment the customer sees it, from passive scrolling when they're just, I don't want to say brain rot, but like not when they're like at their most alert state, to an active notification that, boom, gets their attention and makes them read and actually pay attention to what you're telling them. So give it a try and let me know what you think. Before I let you go, here's what I want you to live with, because of course you should actually implement what I showed you today, but it's actually a different point that I want you to take away. Most D2C brands are optimizing their strategy, whether it's email or ads, any strategy really, from the inside out. They focus on the variables that they can see, like the subject line, the design, and then how many campaigns we sent. And they try to squeeze more performance out of those levers. But the reality is the most high leverage things you can do are almost never the visible ones. In this case, they're in the code, they're in how the inbox providers perceive your emails. In your case, they might be related to how you've set up attribution, how your offer works. Basically, the leverage is in the places where nobody looks because nothing in the dashboards that you have tells you to look there. So this inbox placement issue is, I think, a perfect example. In one show, like a red flag in Klaviyo, your open rates won't tell you what the issue is. Your agency probably doesn't report on that type of thing. And yet it's reducing the revenue that you could be making from every cent until someone, that could be me, actually looks under the hood and shows you what's possible. Which means ultimately what? If you're doing what everybody else is doing, you're going to get the results that everybody else is getting. And if you want to get extraordinary results, then you have to start swimming in uncharted waters, if you will. And then maybe you come back with gold that other people haven't really been able to find. So implement the code, run the A/B test, let the data show you how much money you've been losing. And if you want to know what else you could be doing that you're not doing, or you want us to come in and audit the full program and implement everything for you, the link to book a call is in the description. And we'll tell you, we'll go through your setup, where the biggest gaps and opportunities are, and we'll tell you what to do with them also. So the link is in the description. And if you don't want to book a call, that's fine, but be sure to send this video to someone who can benefit from it. This channel is just getting started. I promise you, this will be one of the best resources to learn e-commerce, lifecycle marketing, and advanced tactics and strategies that you don't get anywhere else.